This is the Nio ES8. Now, don't worry if you've got absolutely no idea who Nio are. Nio is a Chinese manufacturer and a really interesting manufacturer at that, because they have just come to Europe this year. The ES8 is the first model that's gone on sale in Norway, where electric vehicles are really popular. The ES8 is the biggest of the models that Nio provides. So you've got an option of a 100 kilowatt hour or a 75 kilowatt hour battery, range up to about 310 miles. To be honest, the most interesting thing about the car is really what it represents for the brand and also the tech that it showcases. So a lot of people consider Nio to be something of a Chinese Tesla. Nio has been around for a long time, and in China it really does actually dominate quite a lot of the electric car market. Not least because they have some really interesting technology, including battery swap stations. Nio has got something close to 700 of these stations in China now, and you sort of reserve yourself a new battery via the infotainment system. You pull up and then there are bolts that come out of the battery pack underneath and you get a new one put in cassette style. They've even got a couple of these stations in Norway now as well. So the company's really rolling it out there, and it's very interesting because, of course, well, we assume they are going to come to the UK in the future, although it has to be said the company hasn't confirmed that. They're definitely sort of focusing on left-hand drive markets for now. Germany, for instance, they're going to have a new saloon EV arriving quite soon. Pricing is very interesting. So actually, even the big battery is from something like £52,000 in Norway. Obviously, that might be very different if it does ever come to the UK. You're talking about the option of 6 or 7 seat layouts. So really, this is, you know, your Volvo XC90 and your Tesla Model X rival.
As you'd expect, the boot is a really good size, with cable storage and 2 occasional seats that are easy to pop up or collapse back down.
Unsurprisingly, given that this thing is, you know, Tesla Model X sized, it's absolutely huge. This thing's got a wheelbase of over 3 meters, so it really is massive. There is a huge amount of space in the back, so it does feel very luxurious. And this being the executive 6-seat layout, it's even more so. So the seats, they recline. You've even got these fancy cup holders. And you've got a little phone cubby down here, although I would add it seems peculiar that it's not big enough for an iPhone, so you sort of have to put it in there where it might rattle around a bit. You've got your charging USB input there. That is all good. Seats in the back, not bad. Probably good enough even for your average sized adult on a long journey. So yeah, no quibbles there really. I would say like a Discovery is going to be slightly better maybe. But even so, it's a huge and comfortable car. So before I start talking about how the ES8 drives, I thought I would introduce you to one of its chief features. Hi Naomi.
Hi there.
Naomi is the ES8's assistant, and she can do all sorts of things, including, it's a bit of a gimmick, but it's nonetheless quite fun. Hey Naomi, take a picture.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Naomi.
There you go. In terms of the general sort of finish in the ES8 up here, I actually don't mind it. It's a bit sort of black and dark, this particular model. I'm sure there are other variants that you can get that might change that, but I quite like the sort of 2-spoke steering wheel. I don't think it's up there with Volvo or BMW or Audi or Mercedes, but I think it's up there with Tesla. I think this could be, you know, a brand that could really shake up sort of Tesla's hold on the EV market in the UK and Europe and this kind of thing. It'd be interesting to see how that does, and it will certainly disrupt the mainstream manufacturers as well, of course. The ES8 being a big SUV and in Nio's range certainly sort of a range topper. Adaptive air suspension all round, you get masses of power, and I find it quite interesting. Again, this is extremely Tesla style. You can go into the car's modes and you can choose which level of 0 to 62 you would like. 4.9 seconds or 7.2 seconds or 9.9 seconds, which is quite cool. I tell you what, if you go for the faster one, it's fast. So I mean, bearing in mind this is a huge car, you can stop and it is rapid, this thing, properly rapid. We've ticked the box for Tesla style performance, we've ticked the box for new age fancy tech and a premium enough feel inside the cabin. It's certainly comfy as well, and actually visibility is not too bad. In general, the ES8 is just pretty smooth and nice to drive. The steering doesn't have a lot of feel, not a huge amount of feedback actually. It does feel very anodyne, but it's nicely weighted. It does everything you would expect of a really high-end sort of new age EV. The infotainment in particular is very Tesla-like. In fact, I would say it's pretty much a carbon copy. Even the menu layouts, where the climate controls are, how you access all the drive stuff, pretty much exactly the same as in a Tesla. So, you know, Whether you like that fact or not, it works. You know where everything is, the screen responds really well, and the graphics are very good as well. So this straightforward driver's readout here gives you all the information you want. Do you know what? It's just straightforward, it works, and it feels premium enough, easily premium enough to sort of justify the kind of prices that Nio is asking for this in Europe. So not only is it all this kind of fancy infotainment tech and the Nomi and all of this kind of stuff, Nio has also got solid state batteries coming. So the company says it's going to have a 150 kilowatt hour solid state battery, which could potentially be the first solid state to actually arrive, and that would be cobalt free. It would be potentially a bit safer than the lithium ion batteries we routinely use today. It'd be really interesting to see if Nio can get that to the mainstream market within the next sort of year or so, which I think is generally what they're promising. On top of that, with the battery swap technology that's already in these cars, that's been proven to be safe. It's gone through all the Euro NCAP crash tests, really stringent tests, and it's come out with flying colours. So there shouldn't be any concerns there.
The Nio ES8 is a really impressive thing then, but more impressive is the way that the company seems to be progressing and evolving its technology, from user interface to the battery powertrain and much more. On this evidence, at least, Nio promises to be a serious contender in the European and UK markets. Don't forget to head to cargurus.co.uk for a whole host of fantastic used cars. Please do like the video, subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel, and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any of our videos.